I knew her from somewhere. But when she said Cosmo, I said, yeah, okay. Around, I think, 95, 96, Cosmo brought Steve Coates there, and I used to do a lot of speaking over at Morehouse in Spelman. And she finished Spelman, yeah. Supposedly, it's Spelman, right? Yeah, well, you got out of there just in time, because they got them on lockdown now. Yeah.
Lockdown?
But I gotta face the crowd to get the energy.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, right over here. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, right over here. Yeah. Well, what I'm gonna do is take the table. What about?
Well, I'm one of your brothers. I set up.
No, I'm good to go. I can do it. Yeah, but I remember I knew the face, but see, I see so many people now. So I'm saying, I wonder, is it from a lecture or whatever you see? And one thing is interesting though. By me being in a lot of different places each month, I find out that basically conscious people, there's no telling the difference between the conscious people here and the conscious people in Indianapolis, if I even go down to Florida. And although we could always distinguish the North from the South based on the language or based on certain looks, I'm saying when it comes to the conscious people, it's almost like I'm in the same place all the time. The same place all the time. So, which is still good. The interesting thing is the brothers and sisters up in New York, when I was up there in June the last time. I'll be there next week, up in Harlem. They was like, everybody in the community, the conscious thing has gotten so disintegrated and degenerated amongst the people who didn't get into consciousness. Till they're saying that the conscious people are saying now that the regular people or the dead people are now looking at them like they're crazy. Like you all are some type of clandestine type of real spooky and scared people. And that's also when you can understand the difference between two different dimensions. I might have mentioned this the last time. Whereas two different dimensions is when you go around a certain amount of people is dead, you have to suspend what consciousness you have and go into another dimension of ignorance, because by no way are they going to bear witness or, they don't want anything to do with consciousness. Also, we know that there's all forms of mind control, as well as we don't know what's down here, clones, mind control, all types of things. But one way that you can tell is you can take one of the best, a person that's really open-minded, and a person that's basically has a basic conversation on everything, and they can talk about automobiles, they can talk about finance, they can talk about the stock exchange, they can talk about all types of stuff. As soon as you get on consciousness, they get quiet. I've seen this happen. And that is because either something is programmed them to shut down, or there are clones, which also mean it's programmed for them to shut down.
Single ring of
you see what I'm saying? Single ring, one ring of consciousness. So this is very interesting, but this is prevalent. Also, too, like I said, there's a Christian epidemic going on based on mind control also, too. And what I mean by that is I even got some stuff off the internet where they're going up to people and basically saying certain words subconsciously, and these people will go back to their holy sanctified mode or whatever. And the next thing you know, they up in T.D. Jakes. Y'all heard of T.D. Jakes? Talking about woman art thou loose, and this kind of bull, woman art thou loose, But this is but on that case, we must understand that the whole T.D. Jakes thing. They have Creflo Dollar. I don't know if you heard of him. Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, there's a brother in Atlanta called Bishop Eddie Long. All those particular people, and I already got another guy that's real big now. But all those particular people are basically government operatives. What happened was the government looked up in the early 90s, and they saw that the only people who could draw mass crowds was basically the Minister Louis Farrakhan. And they found out that basically that people literally with the Afrocentric movement, the people was basically finding out other things other than that same old time religion. And so as a result, they waited till the Afrocentric thing kind of died down a little bit, and then they basically reinvested into a new type of preacher, which is mind control, because all you have to do is just get a younger type of preacher, you know what I'm saying? And then here come the whole sexual thing, especially when it comes to the females. You know what I'm saying? You know, we've had that tradition going on for years. I remember when I was back in 1985 in my hometown, Mullins, a new black preacher came to town, and the church was packed. And this is one of the biggest AME churches they have. I mean, it's got a upstairs and downstairs balcony. It can hold about 200-300 people. And the church was packed for like 3 weeks. The church was packed, and on the third week he announced that he was getting married. And the next week they didn't have no more than 25 people in the church. But they reinvested back into these particular young preachers, and basically gave them all of the airtime and the promotion. This is all a government thing. Basically to get people's mind off of what they're supposed to be dealing with right now. We're taking this stuff another a step further. And in so many words, with the woman off our loose bullshit, excuse the expression, that also means that in actuality, it puts you back on that guilt thing and that subconscious thing that you are a wretch. You see what I'm saying? So all of this particular stuff is what's going on, but this is also government programming. So T.D. Jakes and all of that, the reason why you see this enormous amount of a Christian epidemic, you see what I'm saying? You know, I mean, he drew 104,000 people in Atlanta. And the day before that, he drew 70,000 women alone. You know, and everybody, you know, and one woman, and one, you know, and he touching on all the black women, all on the damn floor, laying all, we going to the year 2000, and niggas is laying all on the floor, all so-called touched. And they all on the damn floor. And one woman had a heart attack and died. But they didn't know that everybody was all on the damn floor, about 200 damn women laying all on the fucking floor. So hell, they was cleaning up the goddamn place and found out this woman didn't get this shit up. She didn't get up. Gonna kill somebody, you know. By the time they start to clean up the place, she's still down there. And kill somebody in Atlanta about 2 months ago. See? But that's, you know, it's crazy. They're giving $20 here and $30 here and $40 here and $100 here, just tithe and tithe and tithe. You see what I'm saying? Now, based on what Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in the prophecies of the theology of time, and hopefully this won't come true, because it said in actuality that in the last days these particular charlatans are supposed to be killed. And it said there'll come a time when they have to cut these doggone preachers' heads off. Yeah. And that's a prophecy based on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's theology of time. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, it's gotten ridiculous. But what we want to do was, first of all, for the people that never heard me before, I have to preface certain things. You know, I curse and all, but what we want to do is to try to get out of a certain amount of mind control, and everything is a form of programming. Now, first of all, there's only really one curse word that you know of, and that's damn. And isn't it funny that the only curse word that you can actually say is the one that people get the least offended on? I mean, you can say it on TV, you can even get away with it in the church. You know what I'm saying? But everything else is a form of British slang or European slang, and we get all offended and stuff. You see what I'm saying? So basically, there's no such thing as a curse word and all that. I prefaced that before. That's all a form of mind control. That a person can train you from a child to react to certain words, and you take it so offensive until you end up killing somebody. You know what I'm saying? And when someplace on another part of the planet, you go to the Aborigines and curse them out, they would want to know what the hell is happening. Even if they can understand it, the whole concept of you trying to actually say something against them that's supposed to anger them is probably not even a part of the culture. So we're talking about getting rid of a whole forms of all types of forms of programming. You see, programming. For the other people that never heard me before, I gotta have a disclaimer, as well as and I apologize because at this particular time we are at the aspect of the knowledge. This is like my seventh year speaking, but almost, let's say, about 10 years of research. So therefore we are on the ends, the end of the actual cycle, or we are on the latter part of the cycle of this particular research. So at this particular time, this stuff is very advanced, and I've become to the point where I'm very exclusive, as well as dealing with real advanced ideas But then again, I had to make up my mind because they said, you know, you can't tell everybody everything, you know, because people can't, they won't understand it. But I'm like, well, hell, when we deal with black people, shit, we could be here 2,000 years trying to play catch up. You know, trying to play catch up. And we will never catch up. Hell, we haven't even been able to fit into American society. You see what I'm saying? On a grand scale. You see what I'm saying? And now you got the little Mexican boys coming over here doing shit better than us. You see what I'm saying? Because whether you like it or not, they ain't got no shoes on, but I found out one thing about them. They know how to behave. Seriously.
Behave?
Behave. What I mean by, and I'm not talking about behave as far as the system or something. I'm talking about, man, when you literally see them interact with each other. I mean, it's amazing, the camaraderie of the racial thing. You see what I'm saying? Although they might be from all over Latin America. You understand what I'm saying? But basically, we talk about a certain unity. You see, and I see it all the time because I'm saying, I mean, literally, we got almost 70% since 1989. It's almost 70% Hispanics is poured in all across the, in Atlanta alone, but we're talking about almost like 80% only in the whole United States. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about whenever you go places that's in the north, someplace in Connecticut, and you got a whole big Hispanic shit looking like down El Segundo, you know that this particular thing is based on literally putting one race of people and basically getting rid of another. So for every Hispanic that you see, remember there's somebody that's dead because of that particular person. So basically, and we'll get into the science on that also too. But what I want to do is, I guess we'll pour libations, and basically how we'll do it this time is, we don't necessarily need the water. The water could also be your voice, which is energy, the spoken word, which is also words of power. It could also be your voice. And they had a little bit of that in the Mummy, the movie The Mummy, which was all right, but they made two mummies. They made one. The British made a mummy during the same time that they was making the mummy here. But once they found out that Universal had picked up the mummy, they knew that they couldn't compete with Universal. So one went straight to video and one went to the theater. The one that went straight to video was the real deal. It's called The Tale of the Mummy. I'll get the name of it in a few minutes. That's the one you want to get. The Tale of the Mummy. The Tale of the Mummy. And that's the one you want to get. So, let me see. I need me some water also. Yeah, just give me a little cup or a jug or whatever you can find. And we'll just pour the libations.
For sake of putting on tape about libations, could you explain about how it lines up your energies and your ancestors?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I usually do in most of my tapes. And in so many words, in actuality, which I'm going to explain also too, each person consists of their own universe. What you're going to find out is that when your ancestors die, they don't go live in the heavens. They go live in you. There's two systems that we need to understand, and we're going to get into those two systems. They become a part of you because we're just talking about energy. And in so many words, you'll see it on the movie Highlander. When they quicken, when they cut off the head, the one gets the other one's energy and he quickens. Especially in Highlander 3 with Mario Van Peebles, because he went to kill the Highlander. He said, oh, you got a lot of good magic here. Can you teach me that? And the guy said, no. He said, well, don't worry. When I cut off your head, I'll gain all your magic. That's Highlander 3. So basically, they become a part of you, your energy. So when you literally pour libations, you're not just paying homage to the gods or your ancestors. You're actually lining up the energy inside of you. You see what I'm saying? And so what we're going to deal with the next 2 days is to worship a God other than yourself is to worship a God inferior to yourself. That's the first page of the Message to the Black Man. And I don't even think, he put it in there, and I don't even think the realization of what was even being said at the time of the first page of the Message to the Black Man, I don't even think Elijah Muhammad knew it. But it was something that was supposed to be something that you're supposed to get now, and that's what we have to do also too. So like I said before, I gotta apologize because if this stuff seems demonic, evil, and basically blasphemous, horrible, hideous, satanic, or whatever you want to call, be sure to note that it is. You see what I'm saying? But then again, I must explain to you what is that and what is that particular science. You see, outside of the physical realm, outside of the physical realm of what you know as evil, as immoral, if there's no physical realm, then what the hell are we talking about? You see what I'm saying? What would evil be outside of the physical, social, economical, political realm or religious realm? You see what I'm saying? And why is this taught against? So the next 2 days, we're going to really get into some advanced information based on that now. So that's the, now this is my libation, or that's theirs. Is this?
This is both you pour the libation in.
Okay, right. Okay, yeah. This is my cup of water. That's the one.
You want the water, that's for the libation.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'll tell you. Yeah, I want a cup. So we're just going to pour it in here like this now and give them this stuff, you know, straight up. I'll shake it. Okay. Then we will go and do the libation. So I got to get pumped up. Like I said, I don't get up till 10 o'clock every day. So getting up at 7:30 is like getting up at 5 for me. You know, getting up at 5 for me. So you know. So you line up your own energy when you pour the actual libations. You actually, and when you redirect the energy from going to some mystical outside into the inside, that's when you start literally manifesting and in actuality taking care of business where things will actually work for you. As remember, I suggested the last time to get the book The Magician. Anybody got that book? The Magician, Philip Cooper's book, The Magician, Studies in Effective Magic. That particular book, Studies in Effective Magic, The Magician, is basically tells you that, oh, that's mine. Oh, man, okay, you pull out all the stops there, man, yeah. You know. Okay. Basically, that nothing works for you not unless you convince your subconscious mind. So let me give you an example. One brother, we used to stay up all night in the early 90s, 90, 91, discussing the black problem, just all night to the break of dawn. So I didn't see this brother for I didn't see him 4 years, and then I saw him in July. This nigga up here going to TD Jakes. I'm like, what in the hell are you doing going to TD Jakes? You know, this is a brother responsible for bringing Naim Akbar to Syracuse University, Rochester University, a whole lot of things, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? But see, this is where things being redirected and things that not understood can happen. Basically, and what happened was that he had 2 children that actually died on him. So the 3rd child, his wife went to T.D. Jakes, and he supposedly anointed her, and she had the 3rd child. So now this nigga's all convinced that T.D. Jakes had something to do with his child being born. And see, what he didn't understand based on the actual spiritual realm was his wife grew up in Mississippi, and her ass is still down in Mississippi. So the only archetypal image that she ever knew was Christianity. You understand what I'm saying? In the book, Philip Cooper's book, your subconscious cannot produce anything for you until you convince your subconscious that it is real. So Allah, Obatala, Amin-Ra, Osai, that wasn't going to hit it from Miss Mississippi. She needed the iconology in which she grew up with. That was her reality because she was taught that way from a child. So I even gave her some magic before. And the magic didn't work because Miss Mississippi, she ain't down with it because she hadn't convinced her subconscious, or she hadn't programmed her subconscious that the shit was real. You see? So when T.D. Jakes came, the same energy that applied if doggone some brother on the planet, if a Yoruba master would come and anoint somebody, basically telling a person to open up and let the energy flow. You see what I'm saying? That person would get it. Because she only knew Christianity, the only thing that was going to apply, not unless she got some severe deprogramming and other knowledge of greater other realities, the only thing that was going to work was good old Jesus.
She let it happen through the church.
So she used the iconology of a system to program her own flow of energy that her subconscious got and cured whatever was wrong for her that was blocking so she could have the baby. You understand what I'm saying? And they had shit to do with cornbread eating ass TD Jakes. You see what I'm saying? But that was the way that she was programmed from a child, because the subconscious can only deal based on what it is being programmed. It's the same thing based on I got a friend named Brother Basisi up in Philadelphia, and his wife died, I think, last October, but she lived 10 years with cancer. And she became the ultimate vegetarian. He was a vegetarian years before her in the 70s. She became the ultimate vegetarian. She was even, would even wash with spring water, cook with spring water. I mean, literally. I'm talking about the literal, I got a brother, I'm talking about the real fanatic aspect of it. But she still never got rid of the cancer. That is because she didn't convince her subconscious mind to get rid of the cancer. So it didn't matter how much she cleaned the vessel. You understand? The cancer is all based on the psychological aspect anyway, and there was some things that she was not letting go. You see what I'm saying? And that's all it was, is a blockage in the first place. You dictate what the cells do anyway. So based on that, going back to this, he's thinking it's TD Jakes. You see? So based on that, I'm saying also you line up the actual energy, because it is your energy that you're lining up. And at this particular time, look for no God to lift you up but yourself. And what we're going to deal with the next 2 days, and I hope you stay for the next 2 days, is you have an enemy. And unfortunately, your enemy is all of what you think is divine and spiritual. And we'll get into that type of information also too. And we're not just talking about, well, this brother just coming up with some just crazy ass concepts. No. We got enough scholarship here to understand this, and we will point out a lot of references on the way. So let's deal with the libations right now. Sophia, I say Diana, I say Oshun, I say Lilith, I say Lilith too, I say Layla, and I'm going to break some other stuff down with Lilith. First of all, Lilith is nothing but the great mother. So there's some other things that what the rabbinic lure cuts off, because the whole Lilith thing is not indigenous to rabbinic, what you would call the Hebrew lure. It's a Mesopotamian deity that has its origin in Babylonia. So basically, it's the great mother also too. So the reason why some things, by the time it gets to the rabbinic lure, or when it gets to what you call the whole Judeo-Christian thing, she's considered second class or whatever the type thing is, and all. But now don't take her from out of her divineness of being evil. She is evil. Depends on what you understand what evil is. We get to line this thing all up too. So I'll get into some other esoteric works of the Lilith thing, and also give you some documentary. It's a good book you need to get on this, which is a serious work on it, is Raphael Pate, P-A-T-I, Raphael Pate's Hebrew Goddess, which, if you heard of the sewing Barbara Black Code Tool, if you heard that book, the Book of Lilith, her book is coming from his book. The main crux of her scholarship is coming from Raphael Pate's book, Hebrew Goddess. So that's the one that you want to get. That's the real serious work. And the Code 2 book is actually good too. You see what I'm saying? But she has many names. But basically, and it's interesting you said it, because we'll go also to go into some other stuff about the whole little thing and show you her great mother aspect. You see what I'm saying? See, the thing is, the female in Hebrew mythology has to become second class, because they want you to believe that the father is alone and didn't have a mother. You see what I'm saying? Didn't have a mother. You see what I'm saying? And in actuality, you know how you have asshole children or brats? You know you gotta, no matter what you do, the motherfucker just ain't gonna never be no good. The father that that would reduce her down to being evil is that asshole type of child. And we'll get into that stuff too. You know what I'm saying? That's literally male chauvinist and ultimately a homosexual deity. As above, so below. Same shit you got, they got up there too. And we'll deal with some of that stuff too. A lover of men. You call him Yahweh or whatever. But that's how that whole thing, and we'll break all this down too. Now for the people that think this is too bizarre, all I can say is that we just don't have enough time to convince people. But what we can do, which is better than most groups, is we will give you enough information that you can study on your own. Now, if you don't go and do the work, that's up to you. You see what I'm saying? That's up to you. But it won't be from a lack of scholarship if you decide to pursue any of this particular stuff. You see what I'm saying? And that's the good thing about why I think it's safe to well, I can put it this way. The reason why I say that it's safe to basically take what I say as a form of gospel, because the simple fact I take it out of me and literally put it in your hands and give you a series of things to study, because in actuality, I am not a master of shit. I'm always a student. And that's what I loved about the Afrocentric movement that was supreme. The reason why I stuck to a certain realm of scholarship, because we would all say, no matter how much in the Afrocentric community, how much we would say, oh, these great scholars, they would always say we are all students. And that's the difference between having some master or some cult leader or whatever. We are all students. Study to know thyself approved, that the Bible says, as well as it says, blessed are those who read. That's in the Bible. I'll think of it in a minute.
It's in the Quran.
It's in the Quran too?
Yeah.
But it's in the Bible too. Blessed are those who read.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So Master Farad Muhammad, one of the only pictures other than the mug shot you got with Elijah Muhammad standing up is whether he has a book. He's standing there with a book in his hand. One of the ones you see, the one, you know, he got that little Jerry Lewis looking hair doing whatever, is he got a book open. And that's the key. So what we're dealing with is we are able to say what we want, and we're able to express the most hideous things, because the simple fact that this is a realm of scholarship. You must understand this. This is not a type of religion. It's not that type of thing. And I have to draw the lines. We're talking about research here. You see, we're talking about, and we're basically doing what white people have been doing for like the last 140 years. And that's what we're talking about doing. And it's not enough of that now. You see what I'm saying? It's not enough of that. And I'm noticing now that there's even a lot of so-called masters out here, and they will come and they'll pump y'all up, but they will never tell you where they get their shit from. They won't give you a whole lot of sources. So that's what I'm saying right now is, I suffer the consequences for not getting paid a whole lot of money, because I could have me a cult right now. You know what I'm saying? 3-4 women and shit, cooking and stuff, a woman every night. Because our people are here to be taken advantage of, because that's what happens to our people as an oppressed people. All kind of charlatans come and take advantage of them. So because, you know, I really don't want to see your ass after tomorrow, you don't have to worry about me coming back and shit with no prayer cloth. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get no damn money from your ass. You see what I'm saying? So therefore you don't have to worry. So it lines up to be more safe. You're not joining some type of cult or whatever type thing. And for basically what I have to say the next 2 days, God knows you don't want to follow me nowhere. You see what I'm saying and all. You see? And I will say also too, that if you are scared of what I'm saying, feel free to go back to the church. Please do. You see what I'm saying? Go back to the church and call me the devil, which I am. And you have the right to believe that. That's not the point here. The point is not to try to get you to join something. If this stuff shocks you and this stuff is literally wears on you that you say, I can't take it, then go back to the church. You see, like, it's interesting. I know I'm on the road, but this is the way we got to do things and all. Y'all get your water. The other day I was this sister, she was faking the funk. Oh yeah, I know all this so-and-so, you talking all that spiritual stuff. And I said, yeah. You know, and she was talking, I thought she really did, you know. So she said, What's that on your chest there? This is the Baphomet goat, which you know of has been used as Satan. I said, well, it's the Baphomet of the Sabbatic goat that's been used, later on is used as Satan. She said, yeah, what you doing? I said, well, did you look in the Bible? Do you see any iconology that say that Satan, they keep Satan a certain way in the Bible? Is there any iconology that they specifically say, this is how Satan looks? She said, no. I said, okay then. I said, so basically somebody took an ancient symbol of Christ and turned it into Satan. She said, okay, I can buy that. You know, I can buy that. I said, no, I ain't letting you off the hook. I said, I'm not letting you off the hook. I said, what about if I told you that Christ and Satan is one and the same? And then all of a sudden, all her little fronting just went out the door. She went straight back to the damn church. What in the hell are you talking about? I said, now I know that's ridiculous. And I said, because you probably never heard no fool ever tell you that before in your life. I said, you know, she said, yeah, and she said, what are you talking? And then she stopped for a minute and her rational mind took over. And then she started, the wheels started turning. She said, wait a minute. She's in her aspect, she said, well, you know, well, Satan is a form of destruction, and hell, God is destructive too, in somewhat like. And then she got scared again. Nigga, I want to know what your experiences is, because they tell us not to just words and all, and you got to get away from all this philosophy and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to know, you know. I see a few minutes ago you was getting ready to tap in until that same old religious fear kicked in when somebody taught your ass a long time ago. You see what I'm saying? And so therefore she ran. See, we was in this health food store, and it's on the bottom floor of this building where all these people go to work in the office and stuff. She took her ass and ran back upstairs. I gotta get out of here, you know. That whole 9 yards. But my point is, we will deal with those particular things also too. Believe me, this is but on the other hand, we need to draw the line as far as defining. There's two different dimensions, and you need to understand exactly who you are, as well as the other side, what it is. And we'll get into that. I'm going ahead of myself, but let's deal with the libations right now. Oshun, I say. Olakun, I say. Oshosi, I say. Babaluaye, I say. Arunla, I say. Oludamare, I say. Nakumpa, I say. Umbelenga, I say. Yiminya, I say. Arisha Oku, I say. Oya, I say. Ishu, I say. Leba, I say. Olarun, I say. Adamwerdi, I say. Ogufarelli, I say. Erzuli, I say. Edoedo, I say. Laka, I say. Lakshmi, I say. Vinceya, I say. Damawalawedo, I say. Marasha, I say. Bapama, I say. Let me get some of this. Lilith, I say. Amin-Ra, I say. Segment. Segment is also Lilith too. Heru, I say. Awas, I say. Ilas, I say. Ovas, I say. Thunderdog, I say. Sunbear, I say. Kachidi, I say. Samuel, I say. Melchizedek, I say. Sutek, I say. Shutan, I say. Shaitan. Ooh, you getting scared now. Shiva, I say. Anunnaki, I say. Shakti, I say. Da, I say. Yesed, I say. Frigda, I say. Zeta, I say. Brahmin, I say. Damawalawedo, I say. Abungu, I say. Mars, I say. Balda, I say. Omitutu, I say. Noto Otokitu, I say. Moto Orisha, I say. Malku, I say. Tayamat, I say. Tahuti, I say. Osea, I say. Raherukuhuti, I say. Heru Raha, I say. Har Sefi, I say. Pataneta Unra, I say. Tayit, I say. Tayang, I say. Legba, I say. Sekmayat, I say. Asura, I say. Rudra, I say. Vetra, I say. Anu, I say. Nilahotep, I say. Olakun, I say. Tekum, I say. Shakma, I say. Had, I say. Tifereth, I say. Helios, I say. Daniel, I say. Vishnu, I say. Marasha, I say. Atha, I say. Rhea, I say. Alapi, I say. Omitutu, I say. Amitutu, I say. Kosika, I say. Kosi Opo, I say. Mercury, I say. Raherukuhuti, I say. Newt, I say. Abbott, I say. April, I say. Bass, I say. Ani, I say. Maya, keep on going louder. You got a few more. Prometheus, I say Prometheus, I say the Titans, I say Sutek, I say Anpu, I say Ares, I say Hera, I say Oya, I say Apep, I say Bina, I say Netzet, I say Anpu, I say Abatala, I say Cthulhu, I say Shemnigarab, I say Hastar, I say Azathoth, I say Azazel, I say Magdaleta, I say Makali, I say Bridget, I say Sip, I say Oguparelli, I say Moko Baraki, I say Tutu Ilimpa, I say Kosi Kalamasi, I say Babawaya, I say Humona, Cat, I say Kasi Andana, I say Metatron, I say Melanin, I say Apep, I say Osmoles, I say Bass, I say the Hootit, I say Ceres, I say Typhon, I say Leviathan, I say Latiaphon, I say Damawalawelo, I say Gargo, I say Gargan, I say Lockheed, I say Melectos, I say Melocene, I say Pan, I say Dionysus, I say Sutek, I say Sutnesi, I say Sut, I say Sitnubit, I say Supe, I say Tammuz, if you go now, Ilitutu, I say Sahu, I say Adon, I say Aram, I say Azazel, I say Beelzebub, I say Belial, I say White Buffalo, I say Dagon, I say Amma, I say Naama, I say Nobo, I say Ugaru, I say Demogorgon, I say Hecate, I say Manin, I say Nomo, I say Seba, I say Pakwa, I say Shutram, I say Bob, I say Ka, I say Nevertheless, I say Apollyon, I say Apollyon, I say Apollo, I say Perseus, I say Hercules, I say Belber, I say Humo, about 3, 4, 5 more, Thunderdog, I say Chemist, I say Dogon, I say Emio, I say Kali, I say Valzepin, I say Nazar, I say Yinla Yang, I say Rimin, I say Naja, I say, and I'll give you the supreme great mother in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, where you have your Layla, which is the supreme great mother in Islam. Layla is also comes from Lily too.
Yeah.
Lily too, Lilith. Also, you get the word Allah Ma Yin. That's the supreme great mother in the Tibetan Book of the Dead that they tell you is the most evil spirit. That's La Ma Yin. Always the great mother is always evil, and not that she's good. And they say she's evil. No, she's evil if you know what the hell evil is. You see what I'm saying? And we will explain what that is. And so evil is good, like they said in the Vampire in Brooklyn. Evil is good. What you will understand, I'm going ahead of myself. But as we do, before we get into all that, I need to get into the first aspect of the hard copy. So the people who didn't come the last time, I still have some more of those Titan books, which is very interesting. I want to show you this particular picture. I should have Xeroxed some of these. But like I said, I had a hookup. You know how you got a hookup? Well, brother, you know, Black America was built on the hookup. Some Negro working up in some place, he hooking you up. So I had a hookup at Kinko's with a brother. Last time I came, I had a hookup with Kinko's. Brother up in there, the brother's like, look, come in and get what you want. And I was doing like $100 a copy every 2 days. You know how the hookup is. He said, all I want you to do, he said, I'm off on Friday, but Wednesday and Thursday I get a little broke, you know, the hump day. So all I want is my lunch money. And my lunch money consists of like anywhere from $3 to $5. I'm like, shoot, you know, I'm handing them 10s and, you know, whatever, you know, 5, you know, cool. I'm saying, well, yeah, great. You know, because you hooking me up. You know, I'm doing $75 worth of copies. But, you know, I wouldn't abuse it. I tell her, I don't want to abuse it now. I'm going to come like once a day. I'm going to come once a week or twice a week, and that's going to be it. Now, I just knock it all out at one time. But he was over the whole front, so, you know, he's over the whole front. That was his station. So, basically, the white man back there said he got it. So, here it is. Just like you got the hookup. You got some nigga they done put up in there, thinking it's his stove. Well, but this is the problem that gets me is this. There's this other brother coming. You giving away all the copies. And this is where you know it's either got to be some agents or some mind control. The other brother, the brother that was tripping is a brother in his early 20s, like 19 or 20, and from Philadelphia. So he went, I can see the nigga from Mississippi, you know. And he said, Jesus, tell me to guard the white man shit or whatever. Nigga from Philly. And I couldn't figure it out. I said, you know, he all hip-hop back, but yet he acting like damn Gomer Pyle. I'm like, what the fuck going on here? But I said, oh, I get it. Oh, you the agent up in here. See, even something as small as that, they'll hire a certain Negro to do a certain thing. You see what I'm saying? So here come the brother, bust up the whole hookup. You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't able to get my copies like I used to until I found my new hookup. You know, they come every so often, every 6 months, every 2 years or whatever, you know, and all like that. But here's a picture here that I got. This is coming from the Boston Museum. This picture, as you can see, and I want to pass it around if the people want to see this particular thing. I want to put it on the camera first. This particular picture is a picture of the original Greek, the Etruscan.
I thought you said Etruscan.
It says Etruscan, which is the original Greek people. But as you can see, this brother don't resemble no white man, as you look like Isaac Hayes. And you know a nigga is, you know, I don't know, one people got this kind of lips, but the lips so big till they fold in half. So this is a picture of the original Greek. That goes, and this bears witness to what the brother Hakeem Bey was saying, that most of those Greek statues you see was built about 100 years ago, where they had this Renaissance period where they went over there and got rid of all the black statues and put up these white statues. And I think I was here the last time I told you that they had the statue, the University of Ohio bought this big statue from, they fished out of the Aegean Sea over there, and they bought the statue of Zeus. And basically when they carved and dated it was 1970 or 1971. So these crackers literally made a statue, went over there and buried it to authenticate history. You see what I'm saying? And that's what the actual Jews have been doing. There's a book called The Invention of Ancient Israel. I'll get the name. There's a book called The Invention of Ancient Israel, and this book in actuality by Keith W. Whitelam, W-H-I-T-E-L-A-M, Keith W. Whitelam, Whitelam. The Invention of Ancient Israel, in this particular book, shows how these white Jews, which are the fake Jews, you know, converted into Judaism in Spain, literally their whole job for the last, let's say, 700 years, and especially for the 20th century, was to try to authenticate themselves into history. Now, there's a brother down, when I go and speak down in Indianapolis, the brother was saying that they got these Jews, and every time the sister will put anything historical origins of the Jewish or the African origins of the Jews, they get some white people to go up in there and buy all the copies. The Jews will send their own people up in there to buy all the copies, so that they don't want the rest of the people in the area to get this particular information. So this book, The Invention of Ancient Israel, it says that this is what they're doing to authenticate themselves. And remember I said the last time that I was here that they didn't even, before World War II, the prophecy in Psalms of a people that would suffer only lined up with the slave in the diaspora of black descent. Up until after World War II, they became the suffering people. You see, and that was all made, and it was all planned by the Jewish head of state that put Hitler up in there to do that. Say, well, we're going to allow the German Jew to go through the Holocaust. You see what I'm saying? So it can authenticate us into history. So they do the same thing throughout history, and the whole Greek thing, which you see the white statues and all, is all black. You see what I'm saying? Which they did about 100 years ago. You see. Now, so something else I wanted to deal with is a brother by the name of, you know, when they had the Afrocentric movement was pumping up recently in the early 90s, late 80s, they had those Negro people that the white people would go and get these Negro scholars, and they would come up, you know, they paid them to come up and talk junk. I don't know, why do you all want to say that you all Egyptian? We are from West Africa. We're not Egyptians, we're from West Africa. This is what the Negroes were saying, you know, in the argument. There was a